We have breaking news. I'm toasted.
Hi, and welcome back to Kids Eat Toast Sometimes, or welcome to Kids Eat Toast Sometimes.
The worst podcast in the world.
Why would you say that? Why are you the way that you are?
Why, Rupert also, I'm not going to speak this whole podcast.
For facts.
The first, the intro. Facts, brother. Well, welcome to Kids Eat Toast Sometimes.
Exactly.
You know, if you ask, what do we do here? Stick around, you won't find out. So we do a little bit of news, South African news, the main stories. There's a lot of lollygagging, a lot of chin wagging, you know.
I don't think I've heard the word lollygagging in probably 10 years.
Yep.
That's like
what does lollygagging mean?
You know, lollygagging.
Laughing out loud and
Talking.
gagging. Like you
know.
gag so much that you laugh. What an image.
Lollygagging.
I think lollygagging is like from like MySpace era.
The meaning of lollygag is to fool around and waste time. Synonym, dawdle. How to use... oh, no, that's a question. Anyway.
How do I use lollygag? Well, you
just
just used it.
I thought that part of definition. Where has this voice come from?
I don't know.
Because we all do it. Rupert,
It's
where
like-
did it come from? Or now you're going to do a mute impersonation?
I actually don't know where it started. It comes from Champy, maybe.
No, it doesn't come from Champy.
I think it's just a Holmes voice.
It is. The big...
Holmes law.
The weekend... what? Holmes law?
Bokke!
Book before.
Book before. The
Did you also
weekend.
think that was cringe, Rupert?
Book before or Bokke?
Who's that? Which
Both
was
of
more
us.
cringe?
Book before was definitely more cringe.
Really?
I
Yeah.
liked my Bokke. It was passionate.
Yeah,
and
it
we are
was.
passionate about our Bokke.
Is it
Into the
impossible for
finals.
women to be cringe?
Yes, of course.
Well, no, pretty women.
Yes, of course.
Ugly people be cringe-worthy.
That's so horrible.
No, I'm joking. I can't read. No, it is. You know, you see an ugly person, you cringe.
No, definitely not. Oh my god, and Sam's trying to get me cancelled.
You
on
see
every
an ugly
single
person,
episode.
you cringe.
Do you know what I want someone to do?
Sometimes that's the mirror.
Do you know what I want someone to do? Is I want someone to create a compilation of you being unhinged on KETS over all of the years.
Someone actually said that they couldn't believe it, that I've been the best behaved host of KETS recently.
Who said that?
Sparky, he's also a big time
That's
fan.
such love.
Chloe has been pretty out of pocket
You've been
recently.
out of pocket with some of your opinions, with your anti-white opinions, and then Rupert's borderline homophobic remarks.
You are taking us both out of context.
Welcome to my world. It's been nice not to be the subject of abuse,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
good. So where do we land
Well,
on ugly people?
No, we were talking about the Bokke and how we are into the finals. What a painful watch. That was honestly one of the most painful experiences. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I did think though I had it like in the back, like in my heart, in the back of my head, that we were going to somehow pull through. I don't know what.
I thought we were gonna lose.
Really?
Big time. I thought, because I was about to put, just hedge my experience, I was going to put 250 Rand on England to win, and they were massive dogs, and then they win. I was like, shut up,
That feels unethical.
That's why I didn't
so
do
unethical.
It's disgusting. I felt it felt like
No amount of money is worth bidding against your country.
felt like a Monday afternoon, page 64 of the hub. You just don't want to be here. But
Page 64.
yeah, you're there. The easy joke was 69, but I thought that was just too plain
Oh,
sailing.
page 64 is deep.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's one of the key words in it. No. Anyway, speaking of lollygagging,
Ever gotten to page 64?
yeah, no one does that. No one does that.
No.
That-
no. But
Okay. Fair enough.
moving swiftly along.
Fair enough.
We must insert a video, but Sam watched the last like 10 minutes of the game from outside. It was so funny. Like,
It's-
you know when you actually can't be in the room, you
Yeah.
just...
The funniest thing I saw was a guy put a bed sheet over his
Over his
TV
head.
and was
Oh.
like peeking
I
at the
saw that,
thing.
yeah.
I actually didn't see that. My dad told me about that. So there's a pretty good chance it was made up.
No, I've seen that. That was
there's-
a good relay of the TikTok.
If there's one person who caps more than me, it's
If there's one person that caps more than me, it's
Yeah, no, he is the original Le Cap. So no, but the South Africans, we are through. We're in the final, and it's a different one because it's late. 9 o'clock kickoff. You know, here, come get your news, get your stats and facts. But I remember people started drinking at like 9 o'clock because we had like a lunchtime final.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, when we played in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, but now,
Sure,
how was
late,
your
I'm
Sunday?
gonna start drinking at 9 a.m. again.
Jeez, no, I can't do it.
You won't make it to
The
that
stress,
final.
but also the stress sobers me up.
Yeah.
So, but Rupert, what was your? Because there was an ecstatic Saturday, and then the Sunday was a comeback.
Mine was pretty chill there.
What time did you come home, Champy?
3?
3 in the morning.
Easy
Jeez.
3.
From Boogies. Yep.
Yeah,
Boogies,
yeah.
I mean, you know, it's as good as it gets, really. But
Those evenings we just go back and forth between Boogies and Tin Roof.
yeah, it's something more.
They
But
both play terrible music.
the big controversy coming from the game was
Oh yeah.
something I know a lot about, being a vit cunt. Oh boy.
A white corner?
But the first thing, the one piece of journalism, this is obviously Bongi Mbonambi being accused of calling Curry, is it Tom or Sam?
Tom Curran.
Who's Sam Curry? The
Sam-
cricketer?
No, that's Sam Curran.
Curran, Jesus Christ. For more sporting news, check out the Left Back Sports podcast for in-depth views into the sporting world. But no one pointed out that if you're going to call someone the C word, in Afrikaans it's kont.
Yes, but
They didn't see that in the investigative
Shit.
reporting.
No, but he's saying he
Go on.
wasn't. He said he was speaking English. So the misunderstanding is that everybody thinks that Bongi has spoken Afrikaans, and the Springboks do speak Afrikaans during games because obviously the opposition probably won't understand them.
And just Etzebeth is like, I'm speaking Afrikaans.
Everybody
speaking
else
Afrikaans.
must learn it. Yeah.
Etzebeth definitely saw that video you made and poosed the screen.
Yeah, about the Zulu replacing Afrikaans. Hey, you got onto his burner account. The hate comments
Oh
were
my
probably
God.
were
Probably him.
It was the bendy on his.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
on his
that
hate
is the
account.
first time I've ever had to switch the comments off of any KETS video because the abuse,
Did you switch them off?
I switched them off. No, I won't even say what you got because I saw it and I switched
I'll
off.
say
I just turned off my notification.
Yeah.
No, it was rough. It was rough.
Don't say it.
But so the misunderstanding is that people think that he said white C word, but he was probably speaking Afrikaans and saying wit kant,
Like the
which
other
means
side,
white
yeah.
corner or white side.
Yeah.
So,
So if you
I don't-
in rugby, there's also the blind side, and you call that the blind cunt. It's also
I don't think it's blunt. You
that's
can't
what
just-
Blind cunt.
Stevie Wonder's ex-wife. Hey, die bloody blind cunt. So
I don't know. I don't think that Bongi would do that. Like it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, I don't know.
I
Bongi
think
from
I
afar.
straight up.
He's had no history of saying racist stuff on the field. Why would he do that in a
Well, I don't
semi-final?
I said it's racist.
No one walks around and, he's got a racist history.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I also don't think it's racist because if you're white and a cunt, then you're sorry. We'll bleep that out. You just, it's a descriptive. He's not saying he's a cunt because he's white. Now that would be racist.
I think that if you switched it around, it would be racist.
I think he's
It's
straight
just
up.
the debate.
What are you trying to recover? You're trying to get back in the woke brigade.
Oh
I
my
think he
goodness.
straight up just called him a white cunt, and now these oaks are
Rupert,
trying to
I
find
bleeping
guys,
white. And now these guys are just trying to find ways of like, oh, he
this is
said
going to be our
Vingat,
first
he said.
bleeped podcast
No,
episode.
I'm not editing the bleeps, and that's anyway. But no, whatever it is, it's like, you know, Dana White's got a good perspective on this when he's like, the reporters will be like, oh, the UFC, the fighters are saying crazy stuff to each other, and it's getting like worked up. He's like, they get into a cage and try and murder each other.
Yeah.
Now you're worried about them swearing. Like, oh, you're nuts. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with rugby. As Juice WRLD said, we get it bussing up in London like a concussion.
Exactly.
So-
Fuck me, that
It's
was
kind of
cringe.
like sledging.
It is like sledging.
It's like sledging on the road. I'm not saying that he did it. Or that
He
it's
didn't
okay,
do it.
but
We
I also just on the last topic of rugby, I wanted to ask. I know this is kind of controversial, but
here we buckle up, folks.
Do you think that the bomb squad are better than the players who come out in the first half?
Well,
Or do you think that
Oxenchair is the best rugby player in the world. So
But I think that people say, like, why not have the bomb squad on first?
because then it's not the bomb squad.
Yeah.
The thing is their impact, like a
Yeah.
bomb.
Yeah, I heard that the people who come out in the first half, they like lay the foundation. They tire out the opposition.
Yes, yeah.
And then
it's
the bomb squad
wave
come
on wave,
in
and now you've got. I think it's because the disparity isn't that big.
Yeah.
So like you can't be like, Kitsoff is a world class rugby player. So
it was bad on Sunday.
no, he was alright. But no. I like the bomb squad. It works. It's just crazy. It just shows the depth of South African rugby, and I see a lot of international pundits and things covering it, being like Oxenchair, Archias Neyman. Those are like best in position,
Yeah.
but they start on the bench. It's crazy. So exciting times.
It's
And we've also got a review in from Mika Labuschagne, also occasionally pronounced Labuskachny. And thank you for that, 1754. I don't know if that's the start of your ID or just your username.
1754.
But she wrote, I'm not even a podcast girl, but you guys got me hooked. Love the South African vibes. Successes. 5-star review. Thank you very much, Mika. That's very kind of you. Was this on Apple Podcast?
Rupert put
It's on
this in.
YouTube.
Just on YouTube.
Thanks, Champy.
Thank you. No, that's...
I love people commenting 5 stars. Now you guys have to just keep doing
Yeah,
that.
but
It's so great.
speaking about awards, you know, if ever you thought participation medals or that sort of stuff was a bit ridiculous, this is going to blow your mind. Recently, our new family dog Harvey, aka Charvi, he got a certificate. He graduated from dog school, and
from dog school, from
From
puppy training.
dog dynamics.
dog dynamics.
He passed with good boy status.
It's a bit like Cedar House. Everyone's on drugs.
Hey
It's
now.
very laissez-faire. But yeah, he didn't graduate cum laude. He graduated good boy. Rough.
Good one. Was that the joke that you were saving?
No, my joke that I've been saving is we've been having tall coffees from Woolworths, and then I was going to make a joke about Rupert being short. But
Is that seriously the joke?
yeah, I couldn't find
But
the
you're not
words.
even 6 foot.
No, but I am. God, here we go again.
Should we put on cam the loafers you're wearing now?
No. The thing is, I'm fat at the moment.
No,
no, I
sorry.
am.
He
And
is.
No.
He
No,
is.
no,
It is.
no.
It's disgusting. I looked in the mirror and I was like, that's disgusting.
No.
But not in like I'm going to kill myself way. Like we must make improvements. And there's nothing, I feel there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
But I just love food. I just love
What's your
eating.
favorite little sweet treat?
Anything. if it's got a little sugar in it, I'm there. And
Loves a Magnum or like a little Woolies Magnum.
the Woolies
actually.
mint solo.
Sure, hey? Delicious.
Yo, lollygagging around there. But no, so I don't know. Harvey is the cutest dog.
He is
of
so
all
cute.
time.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, we'll have put a couple of photos
Yeah.
in because you
Rup-
guys have to see that.
Rupert wants to. We've all walked a different mental health path, but he was down the one day and moping about how he wanted to become a dog, so that he could
Don't lie.
This
I
wasn't
think
just one day, it's for about a week I was doing it.
every day.
I was actually I was job shadowing him, walking around on all fours.
I feel like everybody's had like a time where they contemplated being a dog for a bit.
You can't tell me you don't for one day you'd like to be a dog.
There are a lot of
That'd
things
be
I'd like
so
to be
cool.
for one day. It'd just be interesting. For one, I'd like to be a male for a day. Be interesting.
I wouldn't want to be a woman for the day.
Yo, if I was a chick right there.
I wouldn't want to be a chick for the day.
Really? I think I'd want to be a man for the day. I'd try a dog.
And just pluck the whole day.
Gross. More so, I think I'd want to like infiltrate like a men's changing room and just see what people talk about. Sauna with the men. Sauna with the guys.
That's bizarre. I mean, Rupert, I still haven't recovered from you. I wouldn't want to be a chick because imagine that day you're on your period. Worst day ever.
That's so true. But do you know what I'd like to do on the podcast is get a period simulator and get you guys to try it.
I'm not a
Light work.
I'm not a high pain guy. It's not for me. It's not for me. But we've been also grinding the David Beckham docu-series.
Docu-series,
One of the best sport documentaries I've ever
Really,
watched.
really
well
good.
made. But all it told me was just like how if you're rich enough and famous enough, you can cheat on your wife. So and then make
also
a
just like, yeah.
show about it.
Yeah. I also in the documentary they seem to blame Rebecca, and it's like, oh, she hurt Victoria so much. It's like, my guy,
They didn't blame Rebecca. They didn't even mention her.
I think they insinuated.
No.
They were like, this situation like was really tough on us, and I'm like,
Like David tripped
You
over
were the
his untied shoelaces and landed in a pair of supple breasts.
exactly. So
Beckham's looks. Beckham's looks.
10 out of 10.
Any other topics you want us to cover there, Champy?
It's just curious.
Beckham's looks? Current news.
I feel like Gary Neville stole the show.
Stole the show.
I've been loving Gary. And now I follow him on TikTok. He has the most hilarious TikTok.
funny,
He's got, I just saw that he's got one teenage daughter. But all of the comments were like, how can she call him dad like that?
Daddy. Yeah, no, I love Gary Neville. He was funny. He's also, I like his punditry. He's a funny chap. But what it also reminded me of is just that abuse and stuff that Beckham copped. It just proves how dumb the English are. That English public, when they rally together and
It's scary.
Yeah.
That was way over the top. Such a big overreaction.
I don't know how footballers and those sort of people in that limelight don't will lose it. Like if I scored a goal and people are like,
We've seen you on the hockey field.
yeah, it's not good.
I just feel like on that level, like you just can't afford to do that. Like
Yeah.
there are just far too many cameras, and you could just destroy your career like that. So I mean, he probably knew, but it is like it's really, really hectic. If you guys haven't watched the documentary, I think that he basically got red carded during was it a final where they were part of the World Cup?
In the final.
And
Was it in the final?
It was something where England ended up losing.
It was against Diego Simeone when he kicked out.
Yeah, he kicked
Was it the
he did a
final?
donkey kick on his back.
He's got donkey brains.
Yeah. And he basically got red carded, and then England blamed him that they lost.
Yeah.
But it was like and I mean, like hanging up a dummy of him by a rope is just very, very dark. So
Okay, let's hear your best David Beckham impression, Rupert.
I haven't watched enough of the series to give you one.
Give it a bash. What do you think it sounds like?
Okay. And you know, Posh, she was. That's not even.
No.
Okay.
So, okay,
It's more like, it's the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
Joel Stransky, what do you do?
oh, guys, no, I can do Victoria.
Anyone can do Victoria.
No, she goes, oh yeah, and that's golden balls. That's what I call him. I call him golden balls.
That is
That's
actually...
Okay,
God,
that's my
that
best
was-
impression.
That
so
was
far.
good. Golden balls. Would you... No. Anyway. What is going on in South Africa? Because it's high time. People have come. They want the news. They're sitting there
Well-
confused.
That's what you come to us for.
Should I get up out of bed? Should I stay depressed listening to this pod? Stay depressed, kings and queens.
We've got a good mix of good news and bad news. So we're going to start with the not so good news first to maybe soften the blow a bit. Cape Town gang-related crime to reach new heights. That's a bit of a tough
What's
headline.
going on in your face there?
Anyways, it was my news face.
Put you having a stroke for a second. I was like, I wouldn't be helpful in that situation.
No.
More a fleer.
But it's expected that gang-related crimes are going to reach new highs this festive season. Some people are saying 'tis the season to be vigilant.
Who's saying that? Is that just you? No, Chloe.
'Tis the season.
No, but I don't want to talk about Cape Town gangs. It's not like... I like talking about stuff that's far away. You know, you talk about Manenberg and, you know, it being locked down and people getting shot there. That's 15 minutes away.
It's very scary.
Skip. I'm calling a skip.
Okay.
Too scary. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't want this to come up on some gangster's TikTok.
Why Why is it 'tis the season to be vigilant?
Village.
Because there's a alleged 28 gang, knock beep, don't know say his name, scary, but him and his wife and a couple of cronies were arrested in Constantia. I was talking 15 minutes away, now we're 5 minutes away. But you guys want to yappa. You want to yappa like there are no consequences.
Okay.
I'm terrified.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
storming off.
We don't have to talk about what's actually going on in Cape Town. But I did want to touch on, why does crime seem to rise in summer? Because I feel like in most years in Cape Town, it seems like the crime does rise. I think it's because of tourism. Like there's a lot more tourists. But I heard a theory that it's because there's more daylight, so people have more free time.
So are you saying summer crime rises in summer?
Yes, across the world. Which
Okay.
is, yeah. I think it's because tourists flock to the area, and then also people are saying load shedding, duh. Like, there's also people's electric fences aren't working, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But that does lead us on to some good news.
Yes.
This is not clickbait. Is load shedding finally coming to an end? Perhaps. You don't think so?
No.
There's a head shake.
No, I think we'll have load shedding for the rest of our lives in South Africa.
Really?
I really do feel that in my golden balls.
In your golden balls.
It's just, someone said something, when was the last time the ANC built something that you know of? They're like, oh, that new building or that new school.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep us in a state of panic and chaos. So
That's true.
that if you're like dealing with load shedding, you don't have to build schools.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't control the Western Cape, so that's probably why you haven't seen stuff they've built.
Here we go. Yeah, well, so what do you... Votela,
Well, I'm sure in Gauteng and that, there are tons of things that they build.
that's not what the people... last week, Rupert. What a shithole. This week. You know, if you want to see innovation and building in
I'm
Johannesburg...
just saying, you can't say, oh, there's a... We never see them build anything when the DA are in charge of the Western Cape. Obviously,
No,
you're not going to see them build
I
anything.
don't drive past the construction site and be like, wow, I wonder if that's I'm saying, like, when is the last time you heard of a new school being built or a public university?
That's true.
You know, there's
Yeah.
always, it's always crisis, stealing money, and then they trick us into thinking that this is good news. That's how much they've messed us up. They're like,
That's
okay,
true.
you're gonna have normal electricity that you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a free service that you're like, oh, thanks guys, can we have that you pay for? They're like, oh, we're gonna bring back that,
Yeah.
and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
But so what have they
Yeah.
said? What are they up to?
They've said that there's an improved generation fleet performance, and the emergency reserves that we've been relying on have been fully recovered.
Okay.
So that is positive.
But here
I
they
think
go.
that they're-
Here
What?
they go again. They warn us not to get complacent. These small steps of saving electricity collectively go a country mile in getting us towards no longer having load shedding. It's not our fault, Baba. It's
Yeah.
your fault.
Yeah, I
So-
watched a video about South Africa, and it's always actually the worst to watch that sort of stuff. It just leaves you depressed for the end of the day. But it was explained really well that, and I mean, we've all talked about it, but it's a cycle. It's like the more load shedding happens, the more the economy struggles, which means people can't earn as much, they don't pay taxes, and there's less taxes
Vicious.
for Eskom.
It's a vicious cycle.
And it just goes on and on. So I think let's try take this with a pinch of salt. But I think it's refreshing to be reporting on some positive news about Eskom.
And-
It is.
But here's some load shedding stats for you. So
Okay, give them to
load
us.
shedding is projected to have cost the South African economy 1.6 trillion in the 2023 financial year. That's so much
Yo.
money, I literally can't even think about it.
Wow.
Eskom's debt burden stood at 423 billion in February. One can only imagine where it is now.
Sure.
And then Gwede Montashe also estimates that load shedding costs South Africans' economy, and this is what Chloe is talking about, like the collective
Yeah.
cost of load shedding, 1 billion rand a day.
A day.
That's
A day.
crazy town.
A day.
Rupert,
yeah.
that's crazy. You're raising eyebrows. Do you have some things that the ANC have built recently?
After research I conduct, there's nothing.
If it doesn't come up on the first Google, it's over. Did you get anything though?
No, I just saw some News 24 thing where they said ANC keeps promises they made regarding universities built.
What did they
I
build?
think it was Sol Plaatje and something else.
Yeah.
Something in Kimberley.
Not here though.
Northern Cape.
Yeah.
Hence,
The northern. Again, the Northern Cape's one of those, you can't convince me that it's real. Got a couple of people I know from there. Point it on a map. Not too sure what you guys are going on about. So
Oh, the people in our comments are going to get angry.
don't clip it. Don't clip it. Western
Don't
Cape
clip
big,
it.
Eastern Cape massive, Northern Cape. What are we doing? What are we doing? Actually, a lot of good sportsmen come out of the Northern Cape. What you have to say to that, Rupert?
True.
True. Yeah.
Facts.
Facts. Can confirm. Can confirm. There's
Also,
yep. What you saying?
coming up,
Oh yes.
loading Matric exams. What a time.
Shiver me timbers.
What a time. That's so there apparently there's 724,000 students that will begin their exams.
Yo.
That is crazy. I
Yeah.
just remember you on your final exams, you have been knocked down. You've done your initial like June, July exams. Then you studied for mocks. And I was trying to explain to someone from England how many exams we have, because they have, it's very confusing, A-levels. But I was like, yeah, like every exam period, we write like minimum 13 exams. And you do that 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah. You just get so over it by the time. I mean,
No, you finished.
I liked finals.
You did?
Yeah. Rupert, our family always, you know, because I go upstairs to my room, close my door. My dad was like, Rupert, you've got to work hard like your brother. And, you know, he just gets in there, he closes his door, he puts his head down and he works. And then Rupert came in to my room the one day and I was just, you know, I'd get into the room and just nap. Like, what are we doing here? So
That's called active recall. You just lie
Put the
there
book
and-
under the pillow.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
very superstitious though. I had to put my notes above my head so it could
Really?
filter via
I
osmosis.
also, before every single exam, I'd have to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and go like this with my hands. And I never failed an exam. I started it when I was in grade 6.
Are you
And I
being
was
for real?
sitting, I promise you,
That's
Matric
nuts.
exams, I'm there like this. Twinkle, twinkle, and then I would have to rub my tummy.
That is about the craziest shit I've ever
Mine
did
was
it
just
every
a
single
proper
year.
writ mid-exam. That, you know, when you start fatiguing.
had it out like a light.
Hey, like.
We're just gonna take a short break and we'll be right back.
And we're back. It sounds like a new show.
Yeah, you know
After
who-
the ads.
You know who's back better than ever?
Who?
The Maths Lit Kings. So they've taken over the Western Cape, truly. One mark at a time for writing their name. 80,000 students writing the NSC exams. 51,500 of them will be writing Maths Lit, that being in the Western Cape. So 51,000 out of 80,000. You can work out that percentage. We'll give you an hour. Okay. So remember to show your calculation. But no, I like that. I like that a lot because I feel maths. I got scammed by maths in school.
Well, yeah.
Doing badly at maths instead of taking the hit and you know taking the ego hit and doing maths lit.
I did both.
That is
That
also
is so sweaty.
I
That's so sweaty.
I just did both, but my marks were massively different. I think I got a mid-90s for Maths Lit, and my maths mark was like 55.
well. I mean,
Maths lit was my worst mark in my report.
what did you get?
Like, I don't want to flex around here, champy.
What did you get?
82.
Your worst mark.
You got 82 for maths lit. Jeez, that's
I was
shocking.
going to ask you what you got
No.
for Maths Lit.
It was definitely the best choice I ever made, though.
No, that's not shocking. That's a good mark.
That
And
is really
if
good.
you're doing maths lit, we wish you well. No, I think it's also changed. I know now. Back when I was in school, like if you did maths lit, like people used to, like when you went to maths and you went to maths, people used to laugh. Like they go into maths lit.
What?
Yeah, no, we had a guy, a good friend of mine, I won't say his name, I'll jumble it up, Snowden Alistair. I actually just said but anyway, I think he literally got 20% for maths, but he was so intent on not doing maths lit, and he still thought he was better than the people passing and doing
Yeah.
well at
I wonder
maths
when
lit.
Maths Lit was introduced, because from what I know, it's been around since the beginning. But it is something that teachers. So there's some
Adam and
people.
Eve were there.
There's some people that they cannot wait.
2006.
2006, interesting.
2006.
Maths Lit. There's some
For
people.
5 marks, write that out in words.
No, guys, maths
Actually.
lit, and something that I wish we've been taught in maths core is taxes and like calculating expenses. You're just not taught that in maths core.
Or just tell us about it, like must we pay, mustn't we? Like what's the chat?
I remember the best when our first question, I think was paper 1,
Yeah.
was it showed like all of the, it was a weather forecast and it showed all of the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And they said, what is the maximum temperature on Friday? 2 marks.
Maths do be like that though.
No, but I will also say the harder maths-lit questions, because it is also a slightly different way of thinking. I think Rupert came and asked me to do something, and I'm not gonna lie, I was stumped. I couldn't do it. I couldn't work out what they wanted from me.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
asked
definitely
some
not.
things, and there's also like you have to calculate stuff differently. So, anyways,
But you ever thought of cheating? You're thinking about cheating in your matric exams? Do it. No,
Don't
but
do
a
it.
statement by the Department of Education was issued stating the consequences of cheating, and these include being barred from writing the exams for up to 3 years.
Wow.
So it's not so cool when you're 21 and grafting for matric. And if you are, that's fine. We wish you the best. And if caught in terms of paper leakage, don't worry about being barred. Don't worry about disbarred, micros. Worry about prison, because criminal prosecution is on the cards.
Oh.
So, you know. And I remember we had just finished exams, we'd gone to Knysna, yeah, we're rich. And we're on a houseboat, and then all the rumors came out that, papers had been leaked
Really?
and maths had to be, it was always in Limpopo.
Oh,
There's always a leak
rewritten.
in Limpopo. They love leaking a paper there. And they're like, everyone's going to have to come back for maths. And I said, I'm not going through the trauma again.
No.
No, sir. I would have done the maths lit paper, but instead, so... If you're thinking of cheating, just don't, because what people don't tell you about cheating is how hard it is actually to effectively cheat.
No, it's easy.
From-
Phone in the pocket, play airplane mode, go to the bathroom in the exam, whip it out, go into the photos.
No, but I'm still saying, there's
it's like an actual technique.
There's an element of skill that's still, first the stress of the cheating, and you've probably, if you're so inclined, just popped a writ, all right, thinking that's going to rescue you. It's not limitless, pal. You're not Bradley Cooper, you know. And no, but then you've also got to transfer the knowledge. So it's like, rather just study.
I'm not talking about matric exams, but have you ever cheated?
On you, or what is the question?
In school.
I've also never cheated on someone.
That's
Too much of a
good.
guilty conscience.
Mm.
In school, a little bit dabbling here and there, class exams. Never when it came to matric finals.
Yeah.
But I Jordan used to cheat a lot off us. Yeah.
You're just dropping names in this episode.
What's
Chloe, you strike me as someone that's never cheated.
Never
in school.
cheated.
I've also never gotten detention.
Yo.
I tried.
I got detention as a prefect. That was embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
I even got caught cheating in an exam.
By who?
So I think it was when I was about 15, but a student teacher caught me. The papers were on the thing first, and I was tapping.
Rupert.
I was tapping Hayden, saying, Hayden, if you're watching this, tapping, saying, what's 3.1? What's 3.1? And then I looked up, and she was just staring at me. So she took me outside, and she was like, having a go at me, saying,
And banged you.
"I
It
saw
was for me, Fiona Mellis.
What were you doing? What were you doing? And then I just gaslit her straight up. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't cheating. And then this is actually probably one of the least proud moments of my life. And then I just said, she said, I'm going to take you to the head of discipline. I said, I'm in his hockey team, Who's he going to believe, me or you?
Classic Bishops. Classic. She
Listen,
probably
yeah.
went home and cried.
Listen, yeah.
Yeah.
She probably went home.
But I got away
and
with
cried.
it.
But there's also some fun news, because a lot of time people get caught up on inches. How many inches here? How many? That sort of, how many size? But when you've got an 11-foot crocodile, what you make of that, Rupert?
That's one big croc.
That's a good one.
That's one big croc store. So the 11-foot crocodile pays visit to a South African police station. Turned himself in. No, so what's going on there, Chloe?
They said, knock, knock. It's the croc.
Okay, I'm just going to mute Chloe's audio for this.
Don't play around there. You'll mess it up by mistake. I'm also having a hair crisis.
Oh no,
Tough time
guys!
for me.
I also wanted to ask,
Fat and bad hair.
how much is an inch?
An inch.
3 inches is more than enough.
How many centimeters in an inch, or how many inches are in a centimeter?
Inch is like
You see,
what?
we don't know.
Oh, an inch is 1.2 centimeters.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. This crocodile, get this, was nearly 3.5.
Had a micro penis.
This crocodile.
Got turned himself in for having a micro penis. I can't do the guilt. Take me.
Rupert literally was searching the other day how many centimeters is 3 inches.
That's actually on my recent search history.
How many?
1 inch is 2.54 centimeters.
Sure. Okay. Wow. The more you know.
The less you have. Anyway, so what's going on with this crocodile, Chloe? Let's we haven't even made it to our main story. This show is terrible.
A nearly 3.5 meter croc was loaded into the back of a vehicle and relocated in a wilderness near.
This is
Sorry, I just.
Chloë.
Chloë. Yes.
this is what. All right, so that's enough croc news. On to our main story. And Chloe, what is our main story for today?
Are taxis not the villains they get made out to be?
Oh, who?
Taxis.
Taxis. Oh, I didn't catch that first part.
Do we just hate taxis to hate taxis, or are they actually bad and shouldn't be on the road? We talk about them all the time.
So taxis transport up to 15 million people every day and make up about 80% of the public transport sector in South Africa. But they don't receive any subsidies from the government. But so what I find interesting is like, you just said, taxis necessary. Well, obviously, they're very necessary.
Yeah. You see when they go on strike how necessary
yes,
they are.
and it's this classic Western Cape white enclave that we live in, where we don't use taxis. So the only experience we have with taxis is that they're annoying, they cut you off, But without them, we'd be crippled.
South Africa would fall apart without
Literally,
taxis.
and that was made very apparent in the taxi strike.
Yeah.
Santaco taxi strike, where it was like people walking home and the world stood still. So
Also, I love how they call it public transport, but they aren't subsidized.
Yeah.
Like that's just bizarre.
I actually
maybe because they transport the public. That's what the government was thinking.
when it's put like that, and you think about how many people the taxis transport, and that it receives 0 subsidies from the government.
Yeah.
That is.
And you've got high costs.
Shocking.
Petrol's expensive, cars are expensive, and South African roads, which see 2,200 crashes a day.
Those potholes.
That's crazy. Just also to think that 35 people die a day on our roads. That's
wow.
Because even with COVID, it'd be like 100 people died today or 50 people died today, and it was like, crazy town. How are we going to fix this? How are we going to do that? People getting injected in school halls.
Yeah.
Also getting the vaccine. And it was it was crazy. But now you've got an average of like 35, 40 people dying a day. But people are like, woo.
Yeah, people don't
Nothing
really,
happens.
don't really talk about it.
Yeah, it's sad. Very
And
sad.
also when a bus driver say their bus breaks down or gets burned by one of the taxis, they still no, I wasn't laughing at that.
Huh?
They still they still receive income, or they drive a different bus. But as a taxi owner, if your taxi breaks down or is in for repair or anything, you have absolutely no means of generating an income.
Yeah.
So it's like,
or if your taxi gets impounded. I think that's also what the taxi strike, obviously they wanted to make all the cars roadworthy, and taxis were like, it's expensive to get our taxis fixed, and when they get fixed then we don't make money. So there's two sides to it. Also taxis are not unregulated, but there's just too many of them to regulate, and they often
there are quite a few taxi. Or the scary thing for me around the taxi organization is that there are gang elements to it. There was a big taxi war with here we go, Cadetta and what's the other one? Qatar.
Qatar Airways.
Yeah. They were fighting over the Bobble route.
I always forget what it is.
It's Qatar, I'm pretty sure. It was Cadetta and Qatar. Maybe give that a Google.
Qatar.
Yeah, KETA. Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? Qatar. Visit Dubai. Yo, have you ever seen a nation so set on advertising you to get there? I was like, there's something very wrong with that place. If you
I
got
hate it.
it's like that weird kid. Come to my house. Come to my house. Come to my house. And you come to the
It's
house.
like, oh, the house is nice, but you're still fucking weird.
yeah, there's a little snake in the grass.
I literally can't find it.
The one is
Anyways,
definitely Cadessa.
I can just see Carter everywhere.
What a
I have no idea.
What happens when
Anyways,
you put cadet in?
doesn't come up.
Nothing.
I think we've got it wrong.
I have dreamed a dream.
But you definitely see more Carter taxis. But I also think that
It is these two right here, cadet. It's the first thing you do when you Google it.
I searched up cadet.
Space cadet.
I spelled it.
Into the taxi. Short left. Aye.
Oh my goodness! You know what that makes me think of is that viral video of that guy he wears this like scream mask on the taxi.
Oh yeah.
And then he keeps like turning around to people. I love those compilations of giving people
Chloe
frights.
will always tell someone like to their face in a normal conversation, like you can't explain a TikTok or a video to someone, and then without fail, 90% of her conversation is talking about videos. But it's crazy town. Have you ever been in a taxi?
Yeah, but not I think one that was like hired. So
Well, then you haven't been in a taxi.
it was a taxi. It was
You've
still
been
a
in a
taxi.
Quantum, but you haven't been in a
Yeah,
taxi.
No, at Cedar House, we would have a taxi driver that would pick everybody up from like all over the neighborhoods.
Okay. Have you ever been? So Chloe hasn't. Have you ever been in a taxi?
No.
Okay. Not even a Pledge Rage. That's also
Yeah, but
that's a bit like
that's
Chloe's
not-
taxi
Yeah,
experience.
that's like,
yeah.
ooh, look at my private
Yeah.
school taxi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a private
yeah.
school taxi. Yeah.
Jordan and I got into one once on Main Road, and Jordan was like pretending to be all cool with it, and it was a normal experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
The anxiety of trying to tell people where to get off though, too much for me.
Yeah.
So I prefer taking a Land Cruiser by myself.
Mm.
No, but yeah.
And
No. Yeah. Go for it.
do you guys know why the government won't subsidize them?
No. Have you got the answer?
Yes.
Well, why won't they subsidize taxis?
Well, it's apparently because the taxis don't abide to the labor laws when employing drivers. You know, do you have a license? Do you have a license?
All the real
Background
tough
check, all of that stuff. So it makes their operating
Can
costs
you drive?
makes the taxi operating costs a ton cheaper. And the taxi industry, obviously, like, you know, with the gangs and stuff, they promote a competition between the drivers. Because so you're basically a private entity, and the state issued a thing saying they will not support or enforce competition law in the taxi industry. So they won't. The state refuses to accept the taxi guys' terms of being subsidized.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You said it. What more?
There's just no money. Like, where are they going to find money to subsidize the taxi industry? A massive industry. It's just not happening.
Yeah, if you
anytime
think they
soon.
can't subsidize,
They can't even manage to subsidize
trains
South
and
African
stuff.
Airways. Please, that thing's like
I feel
crashed
that
like
airline
multiple
is harder
times.
than a taxi,
Really?
just in terms of the physics.
But aren't there like so many more taxis? Than
No, for sure. I was literally just thinking plane versus car. But yeah, well, that's that.
That is that.
just give the bras right of way.
No, but I mean, even
I'm
I don't think across the world there's a lot of government subsidies. Are there subsidization?
But across the world, it's not the same as South Africa. Our public transport often doesn't work, and isn't reliable and is unsafe. Like, Prasa's got so many trains that are not working at the moment. So,
but the taxis are the public transport.
but I'm saying, so then you must subsidize it.
Yeah.
And so many people live outside of the city. So
Yes. So
Come
what
on.
can you do? What can you do?
South Africa, man.
Yeah,
But
time for
at
some
least
good
load
news.
shedding might be
Oh no,
on.
this is not good news yet. Sorry, it's Israel-Palestine, not. Yeah. No. All right, on to our next topic. No, it's we've got some EFF news because they've come into the Israel-Palestine chat, and we'll get into that now. But excuse me, I just want to lead with a disclaimer. that it is absolutely impossible to talk about this stuff. And here we are talking about it. Yeah, me. But when you just look at that hospital that was bombed in Gaza, if you look at Israeli media, Hamas bombed it. If you look at Palestinian or more, maybe I said left-leaning media, it was the Israeli government. And it's impossible to know. We're not there. You're not on the ground there. But what is happening is that hundreds of people are dying, and that is very sad. And again, it's when you're removed from a situation. It's like when people were dying in COVID, and you hear all these numbers. They're just numbers to you, and it's so sad that that's what like the human existence has been reduced to, is like children dying. I often also do think that it's a weird thing when people are like, and women and children are dying. And I was like, it's almost like discredits all the men that die. They're like, they were supposed to die. Or, that weird, I know that's not the sentiment, but it's a bizarre thing that we think of human life like that. So
I think what makes it so heartbreaking is so much of Gaza are young children. Like it's actually a really
50%.
Yeah, it's a really big
child
proportion.
population.
So it's a lot of children that have died, which is very sad.
Yeah.
I do also I think it's just crazy that we're living in a time where there are so many wars going on across the world. Like there's wars being fought in Africa, even that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
And then of course the Ukrainian war is still going on. But I think as humans we don't.
The interesting thing with that is that I haven't seen any media out of the Ukraine. And when I say media, I mean like images of soldiers or civilian casualties. It's like weird that
I think
the one is so.
Yeah, I think as the world we just don't have like the capacity to be, reporting on or like having the headspace to think about such horrific events, happening simultaneously. Like it seems like the media just focuses on one and then switches to the other when something.
Well, I just think they care about the more graphic. They're like, this Ukraine thing's boring.
Wow. Yeah.
If there was a school shooter tomorrow in the US, that's going to be the main story. But anyway, it's very bleak. But what? Anyway, and again, it's also like I think South Africans are a lot more attached to it because of that apartheid. Open air prison. It feels like we've experienced something like this in South Africa. Yeah. And so, of course, you go like, to like free Palestine, free people from oppression makes sense. But then that doesn't mean you support like the beheading of children. Of course not. So.
I think it would feel weird if we didn't talk about it. It doesn't feel right to not talk about it, especially when we cover news. But I also don't think that we can really. No,
I'm not saying like we have there's not a solution here or anything. Yeah. But
I agree. I do think it is. I think it's needed to talk about these things.
Or even just to hear. Maybe you're listening at home or watching at home. You're like, I don't know how to feel. That's also a fine feeling. I think we've been tricked by recent events to be like, you have to have a stance on something and you have to know what's happening, and then things are complicating and ambiguous, and it's just so sad to see the loss of human life. But the EFF on Monday vowed that should they be elected to govern the 2024 general elections, they will send arms to Hamas in their fight against Israel. So that's classic EFF. They don't just go free Palestine. They go, that's poor gasoline. We're actually going to arm the sort of more terrorist, militant Hamas division. Or Hamas, terrorist group that's... And again, it's also... You hear multiple different conflicting reports. And I think that's where it also gets tricky, because Nelson Mandela, for the majority of his life, was classified as a terrorist. So it's all fucked up. It's impossible to think. We're just bumping into each other, trying to have human contact and maybe
have you spoken
sexual
about
relations.
That English guy you saw in the sauna?
What did he do?
With the Mandela thing.
Oh no, but that's for another episode. But so they've also, the EFF have attacked Woolies.
Woolies must go. Woolies must go.
So that was
why have they attacked Woolies?
Well, no, it's just stock in Israel, Israeli products, produce, that sort of stuff. Get it off the shelves. Interestingly enough, the DA supports Israel, and and this is why I think everyone hates politics, because you have to choose.
All I'm saying is those Israeli white grapes, seedless white grapes, go hard.
Those are some good ones. So Woolworths and McDonald's were among the companies targeted by the economic freedom fighters after its leader Julius Malema called for the stores to refrain from selling products obtained in Israel. Malema wants the Woolies stores, which are much loved by what this author calls the middle class in South Africa, to remove any Israeli product on their shelves and cut ties with companies linked to Israel. Woolworths has a responsibility by the end of this month to remove every product on their shelves that comes from Israel. If they don't, we will remove it ourselves, Malema says. Joke's on you, Julius. Woolworths remove them already at the end of the month because they're expired. No, they don't. You get them cheaper. I don't think you do either.
Just discounts.
Yes, but it's quite funny because on Friday, also the ANC youth leader, he reminded, he remembered there were elections coming up and that they might have to do something to get South Africans to vote for them. And he echoed the same thing, same sentiments, and he said, we're giving you clear instructions that when you leave here, when you see Woolworths, you must close it down. Don't be scared of anyone, the ANC will protect you. All Woolies shops must be closed down. And this is what he told supporters outside of the Israeli embassy in Pretoria.
Why Woolies and not Pick and Pay?
You'll never close down Woolies.
No, it's just interesting. I'm not actually sure why.
That would be like the first mass white protest since Zuma must fall. Save Woolies, save Woolies,
Woolies, yeah.
Woolies, Woolies. So it's great. What do you mean? Don't be scared of it. Anyone, the ANC will protect you. The ANC can't even keep the lights on. What are you talking about, man? But what a crazy world we live in. Rupert, sum up this whole thing in one word.
Fucked.
Chloe?
Love it.
Chloe loves
no.
it. No. What do we do?
Crazy.
I'm with Rupert. Fucked with a T. Fucked.
Headache. It's fucked.
Correct.
It's all about the wit cunt and the black cunt. Can't we all be on the same cunt together?
There we go. That was wit.
People, help the people.
Do you know what I think?
And if you're homesick, give me your hand and I'll hold it.
You know
your
what?
vocals actually improved.
That was not bad.
That sounded flippin'
That was not
good.
bad.
If you are.
What you say, yeah.
Righto, we are going to wrap up this episode on a more positive, light-hearted note.
Overrated, underrated.
Let's
quick fire.
Fucking
Honestly, I'm engaging the chaos. Go.
Okay. Crocodiles.
Underrated. Big
Overrated.
mouths.
You know why crocodiles are so overrated?
Why?
It's because when a human gets killed by a crocodile, he takes you fucking
death rolls
you, and then puts you under his little embankment to rot for a couple of weeks, and then comes and eats you.
That sounds like a horrible
Call
dude.
Steve Irwin.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, maths lit.
Underrated. If you're getting less than 80 in maths, you're not going to be a doctor. Get on that maths lit grind. Let's fucking go.
Get on that maths lit grind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change subjects. Don't do maths.
The All Blacks.
The All Blacks. Perfectly rated. Big respect for them, but we're going to beat ya.
What is your score prediction?
South Africa by 5.
Okay, interesting. Are taxis overrated or underrated, do you think?
Actually, I changed it. We're gonna beat the All Blacks by 1 point.
Yeah,
we're
of
gonna
course. I was
go
gonna
quarter, semi, final, and we're gonna win all the game by 1 point, and we're all gonna get drunk.
Cool. Taxis.
Underrated, backbone of the nation. Next.
And last one, the beach.
The beach is disgusting. It is.
Not elaborating.
Yeah, you can see boobies elsewhere for cheaper. Right, that'll be it. Rupert, anything from you?
No champy.
No
Nada.
champy lamp. Chloe dog?
Nothing else from me except for you guys to please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. 5 stars, 5 stars. Remember, we'll be sending merch to the best one.
These are false promises.
False promises.
Don't.
Like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things, and we will see you guys next week.
See yous.
Bye.